going to talk about the closure property of whole numbers. Let's first look at closure property of addition of whole numbers. Let's take two whole numbers, 2 and 3. Their sum gives us 5, which is a whole number. Now let's look at two other whole numbers which are slightly bigger, that is 1200 and 2400. Their sum gives us 3600, which is again a whole number. Now we look at slightly more bigger whole numbers like 25,000 and 24,000. Their sum gives us 29,000, which is also a whole number. Now, in general, the sum of two whole numbers will always give us a whole number. Thus, we can say that whole numbers are closed under addition. Now, let's look at the closure property for subtraction of whole numbers. Let's take the example of two whole numbers, 4 and 6. Now, if we subtract 4 from 6, that is, if we do 6 minus 4, you get 2, which is a whole number. But if we subtract 6 from 4, that is, if you do 4 minus 6, you get minus 2, which is not a whole number. So in general, if we take any two whole numbers A and B, and if A is greater than B, we will get A minus B is a whole number, but B minus A will not be a whole number. Thus, whole numbers are not closed under subtraction. Let's look at the closure property of multiplication of whole numbers. We have with us three examples. The first example, two whole numbers, 6 and 5 have been taken. Their product is 30. Now, our next example, we have 1256 and 65, both of which are whole numbers again, and their product is 81,640, which is also a whole number. Now we take slightly bigger numbers, that is 25,900 and 5,600. Now their product gives us 1,45,40,000. So we see that the product of two whole numbers always gives a whole number, and whole numbers are closed under multiplication. We now come to the last operation, that is division of whole numbers. We look at the closure property of division. Let's look at an example. 6 divided by 2 gives you 3, which is a whole number. But if we divide 6 by 4, we get 3 by 2 or 1.5, which is not a whole number. Thus, we can see that the division of two whole numbers may or may not result in a whole number. So we can say that whole numbers are not closed under division. Today we have learned that whole numbers are closed under addition and multiplication, and whole numbers are not closed under subtraction and division. In the next video, we'll talk about the commutative property of whole numbers. Stay tuned.